A lot of folks out there, who's going to get the vaccine?
Yeah, a lot of people are asking that question, Ron. So in our exclusive survey USA 11 Alive poll, 850 people sounded off about it, and it's pretty split. I'm going to take you through the numbers. 19% are somewhat likely to get the vaccine, and you see some of the other results right there. 13% say no, they are not going to do it. We also asked if the vaccine should be made mandatory. 69% want it to be optional, and 22% say mandatory. With the number of COVID cases on the rise, the chance of a shutdown also increases. So we asked if Georgia should shut down non-essential businesses. Half of those surveyed agreed with that, and 34% said no. And what about the schools? If cases continue to rise, this is something that a lot of people have been debating since the pandemic began. Should in-person learning be shut down? 61% said yes, and 27% said no. And finally, we've seen a lot of back and forth about a possible mask mandate. 66% wants wearing a mask indoors to be mandatory, while 27% do not want it to be mandatory. So we know that's a lot of numbers that we just threw at you. So to get another look at those questions and more poll questions related to the coronavirus, go to 11alive.com.